You as a woman, if you're married, single, whatever, if your man is not paying every bill in that house, do whatever you want. Okay, he don't run nothing up in there. Just so you know, unless he's paying every single bill and every one of your bills, he doesn't run anything.
I totally agree with her. If you ain't paying the bills, what the fuck are you doing? She's saying if you cannot buy me outright, you cannot own me. If you want to own me, pay me directly. Ask me how much I am worth, then you can own me. If you cannot do all this shit for me, you have to share me. I'll give you some days I might not. Some days I might be going out with my friends. So what you're getting is what you're getting. You ain't controlling nothing up in here. You ain't doing nothing.
Why would you allow a man who can't even pay your bills to be playing in your face? Next caller. If you want the man with the money who pay the bills, you need to look like money. You need to be money. You need to transform yourself into the best version of yourself to attract a man with money. Because when you become the money, he's doing the most to keep you, not you doing the most to keep him. Enroll in High Value Women one-on-one. It will change your perspective and heal your feminine energy.
You are a man and you can't pay all the bills. I do not want you to join any masculine modern women conversations. If you are not a man that can provide a safe space for her to be vulnerable enough to embrace her femininity with you, then shut the fuck up. If you don't provide and protect emotionally, financially, spiritually, at a high level, shut the fuck up from a woman that can provide for herself. Quit complaining about these independent women. If you not a man, it's gonna be a solution to that. The reason why there's so many independent women out here is because like you be so not dependable. If you provide her with a hard life, don't complain about the fact that when she come in your life, she not being soft. You want a woman to be submissive to you when you can't even submit the full rent payment? All y'all do is offer stress and headaches and wondering why this woman ain't your piece.
The men on today's show don't know why they're here today. All they know is that someone from a past relationship wants to see them again. Let's meet who brought you here. Miss, would you like to do the honors?
You may have dumped me, but look at me now, and you can't ever have it again.
Tony, do you have any regrets seeing that she looks so great today?
She looks the same as when I left her. I broke up with her because all I did was give 100% for nothing in return.
I gave him so much more than he's ever given to me. Like a new wardrobe.
You bought him a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
What about the 2 engagement rings he bought you, Karen? Wasn't that enough?
Oh, you know this woman.
Yes, he's my brother.
It went back to the jewelry store.
That's because I couldn't bring it back because it was in your name.
Yeah, well, it went back, didn't it?
Well, where's the money that I paid for it? In your pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Tony, what I would like to know, what does she do so bad for you to break off an engagement?
I was giving up all my time. I never saw my friends.
You told me to give up my friends before.
I never told you to give up your
Yes,
friends.
you most certainly did.
Karen, let me ask you something. Are you sure you're over Tony?
Oh, yeah.
Would
What?
you want another chance with Karen if you could?
No. No, I'm not the one that called the show.
Switch down to the next channel. Right. Yeah.
What to say when he asks your body count? Ask his bank account, man. Sparkle, sparkle. Since y'all talking about, counting how much money he got in his account.
And they wonder why Drizzle Drizzle got so popular. Men, at least in the West, have come to the violent understanding that women do not understand money, or the real work required to deserve it. If they're getting it from a guy, they consciously believe there's a fiat currency printer next to their bed. If they're at a job getting paid, they respect the check like a toddler playing Monopoly with their grandparents. For centuries, they were never responsible for handling it, so how does it shock any of us that it's nearly equivalent to giving Curious George an M14?
Caesar has no place here.
Of course not. In more ways than one, this lack of financial literacy has had a compound effect, continuing to poison motherhood, marriage, and the government institutions that allow for all of this to happen. This is what has led to the crisis that most of us refer to as hoflation. Men have to work 20 times harder than their grandfathers did for women 20 times worse than their grandmothers. But let's add an element of honesty here. That kind of definition only applies to the Boomer and Gen X demographics, respectively. Today, the situation is far worse than anything meeting current mainstream descriptions.
How much money do you guys have in your bank account?
Like 500.
500 bucks?
500 bucks.
That's it?
Yeah.
I have like, oh God, like 17,000.
What? 17,000?
Well, like it's not just like for fun. My dad.
Your dad?
I don't know if I want this online now.
When did you get all that money?
I get
And why do you always say that you're like broke and then I pay for everything?
You pay for everything?
Everything.
Really?
That's why I have.
Okay, but I feel like, okay, 17,000 like for bills.
Yes, 17,000 is a lot of money.
Stuff.
I just graduated college and I just paid for everything.
Okay, not everything. You don't pay for school. School.
Pays for that.
My dad. Okay, now I'm gonna seem like spoiled. 17,000, I feel like is like kind of broke, considering I have bills to pay.
We all have bills. I have bills to pay.
I don't even know. Okay, I don't know if I want this online. I was gonna think I'm spoiled.
Get the fuck out!
Here's a list of things that I don't do for my husband. I don't do his laundry. He can do that himself. I do my laundry and we do the kids' laundry, but he does his own. I don't cook dinner. He cooks dinner every single night. I do breakfast and lunch for us and our kids. I don't pack him a lunch. If he's hungry, he'll figure out what he's going to eat for lunch the same way that I do. I don't make his doctor's appointments because guess what? He's not making mine. I don't schedule his haircuts. I don't pack his clothes for vacation. All of those are things that he's a grown man and he can do himself. Can I do small acts of kindness for him? Of course I can. And I do. I'm at the store and I see something that I think he might enjoy eating. I buy it. I find a new non-alcoholic beer that he wants to try out. I buy it. It is not my job as a wife, it is not in my job description to do all the domestic labor as small acts of kindness to my partner and receive nothing in return.
She equates everything to labor when it's just like, sometimes you do things that involve labor for somebody because you love them. It doesn't mean you have to take on every single domestic duty that takes place. Just very strange.
Strange is putting it lightly, sweetheart. Very lightly. This woman is siphoning off hubby's money like a crystal queen outside a Circle K. I've said it before, guys, and I'll say it a million times more. The Western woman has lowered the bar so much that any simp left in 2040 will be begging for crumbs after Thanksgiving dinner. The greed of the modern women takes on many forms. Money just happens to be the most significant. Additionally, this chick who calls herself a wife says that she does small acts of kindness by buying the occasional treat. With whose money, lady? With whose money? That aside, both of these cases perfectly encapsulate why dating a high-value man is now out of the question, and why so many women throw up their hands wondering where all the good men have gone, even though the answer is clear to all of us watching this garbage.
Well, I'm an international supermodel. I'm 22 years old, and I just came out with a song. Insider wrote about it. And I want millions because I think I'm responsible to handle the money. So I'm looking for a responsible man. I deserve money because I'm intelligent.
Are you a member of Mensa?
What's Mensa?
The Society for Genius Level Intellects.
Oh, well, I've never heard of this.
What is the most money you've ever earned?
My MAC Cosmetics campaign in 2019, I was paid $20,000.
Okay. Tell me about the rate of return you've received in the last year.
The rate of return. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that financially literate.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Would you guys rather have one Bitcoin or $100 cash right now?
$100 right now.
He said Bitcoin or $100, right?
Yeah, $100.
$100 over a Bitcoin? Babe.
Yeah. Babe, it's $100 right now.
No, we'll take the Bitcoin, bro.
No, $100. Babe, $100. Stop telling me to shush. It's $100.
You're literally, this is gonna be the biggest mistake you ever do. Like,
no, babe, $100.
No.
Right now, we would have $100 right now.
Do you not know what a Bitcoin is? Bitcoin.
It's $100 right now.
What do you want with $100? What do you want with $100?
We could like go on rides or something, like $100 right now.
I don't want any rides with you right now after you just said that dumb shit. Can we please just have a Bitcoin?
Ew, stop, babe. It's $100 right now.
No, we'll take the Bitcoin.
No, stop talking. It's $100 right now.
Oh yeah, $100? You happy?
Yeah.
Good.
I wish these were isolated incidents. I really do, but you guys know I drown in these clips daily to bring you the facts. And the facts are what you're gonna get. A 2022 TIAA Institute of Financial Literacy survey on U.S. women found that women answered on an average of only 45% of personal finance questions correctly, whereas men fared significantly better with 55% correct on average. Now, gents, you know how I feel about Western surveys. You always need to read between the lines. I recently talked about how surveys reporting about women hitting the wall and being happier after divorce, only to show that they take more antidepressants than men, and double them when they move on to another partner. So this warrants the same approach as body count, or emotional intelligence, or anything else. If a gender pay gap site is saying 45%, it's safe to drop that number to 10%, and even that's generous. As for men, the average is definitely higher than 55%. It's just that most real men are too busy working to take tests and surveys to begin with. Here's another one. Women accumulated more credit card debt year over year and have higher rates than men overall. Line chart showing the shares of women and men who have more credit card debt compared to a year ago, with 15% of women and 12% of men reporting they held more in 2022. Now, once again, this is coming from a Western site, making female empowerment a priority, so we know the follow-up survey is an exaggerated lie. Modern women believe they are boss babes capable of inheriting male industries and the alimony from those cheated. But even the most biased baby mama, wall-hopping, Chad-jumping analysts can't avoid the fact that women don't understand the value of the dollar. They never will. And yet we consistently find ourselves having to listen to chicks like this.
So he came home and he was like, babe, I lost my job. I'm like, all right, cool. So a month later, like the bills, it was time for the bills or whatever, and I'm like, the bills due, babe, or whatever. And he was like, okay, I'm not working. And I'm just, in a month, like it's all kind of hustles. You could have been doing something or whatever. So I told him, I said, look, if I pay these bills, are you going to pay me the money back? This man had the nerve to tell me, why should I pay my wife back for paying our bills? I told this man from day one, my money is my money. And his money is our money. Why should I spend my money paying the bills? Like, no, he should have paid me back. So that's when I decided, like, I can't be with this man no more. So I had texted his homeboy. Like, we all cool. I texted his homeboy or whatever. We went together. I met up with him. And we was chilling, we was drinking or whatever. And I started venting. I started getting emotional. One thing led to the next. I did not purposely mean to do what I did with his friend. But things happen. Like, y'all understand what I'm going through. So, his friend ended up giving me some money or whatever. And he was like, babe, look, don't worry about it. Handle whatever you got to handle. Like, his friend was every single thing I desire in a man. Like, everything I desire in a man. And, ain't nobody trying to hear my side. Ain't nobody trying to hear.
What a martyr. A true saint for the feminist movement. Again, this is why I say money is only the tip of the iceberg. This chick pulled from her man's bank account like it was the community chest, only to clutch her purse the second he was transitioning to another career. To add insult to injury, she ran to the nearest Tyrone and had the audacity to claim she was powerless after the affair took place. It's really not a stretch to say that Western women have started their own personal escort service with extra steps. Softer people will call this a transactional relationship, but I, and the rest of the Man Guide community, know what's actually happening. Some might even say that this is only happening if men aren't able to provide. However, if that were the case, would Jeff Bezos have had to give his wife $40+ billion after the divorce? Would any other insanely rich and famous guy who split with his ex have had to part with millions of dollars for women who never worked a day in their lives? No. The answer to that silly rhetorical question is no.
I asked for 1 hour out of a day for his undivided attention. And I can't even have that?
You can have it if you want to live in Agora fucking Hills and go to group therapy, but if you want a Beverly Hills mansion and you want a country club membership and you want 9 weeks a year and a Tuscan villa, then I'm gonna need to take a call when it comes in at noon on a motherfucking Wednesday.
See, that's it.
So 100,000 women went on strike today in Iceland to demand gender equality. The entire population is 370,000. So over 25% of the population went on strike, and I have some crazy news for you. The economy did not come to a stop, and it continued as normal The only memo I got was that HR departments were getting no complaints for the 24 hours that the women were on strike. And men were writing that they were really sorry women didn't get gender equality, but I heard one CEO said it was nice to finally get some shit done, end quote.
Western women, not remarkable, not valuable, and according to this discovery, not really that necessary. I mean, come on. The evidence is boundless at this point. More than 25% of the entire country's population gone, disappeared, absent, only for the proverbial wheel to keep on turning. Not only that, but the country functioned more efficiently than it had in decades. I'm no sociologist, but I don't think a better experiment could have been conducted in the most controlled of settings. Speaking of psychological studies, this makes me think of a famous one conducted by Stanley Milgram, an American psychiatrist who was fascinated by the fascistic influence of Germany.
Go on.
Gladly. The man was possessed, unable to wrap his head around how so many could follow the orders of a select few, so he set up an experiment involving 3 participants: the experimenter, the teacher, and the learner. The experimenter, who was a plant, acted as an authority figure to oversee the test. Gray lab coat, the notepad, serious stare, the whole authoritative gambit. The teacher was a random participant, instructed to give an electric shock, which would increase with every wrong answer. The learner, also a plant, was an actor told to explain to the teacher that he had a heart condition. With the comfort of totalitarian approval from the experimenter, those random participants did something peculiar. Milgram's test found unexpectedly that a very high proportion of subjects would fully obey the instructions, with every participant going up to 300 volts, and 65% going up to the full 450 volts. To put this into perspective, some people have been known to die after being shocked with 42 volts, let alone enough to cook your family dinner. I'm mentioning this case because that's what feminist governance has done to masculinity. It's given a nod to massive alimony checks. It gives a thumbs up to restaurant bills that would make grandpa cry. It praises the female greed virus that makes every woman feel like a queen, even though they don't understand the first thing about finances and the actual male-driven work required to achieve stability.
I expect a man to pay for the date. Yes, the whole entire date. That includes my Uber to the date and my Uber back to my house. If you are a man that I'm interested in, I want to see that you can provide for me. I want to see that you can afford an Uber ride. I want to see that you can afford a nice dinner date. Like, can you afford basic things? Because if you can't afford dinner and an Uber, my transportation, you certainly can't afford kids. You certainly can't afford a house. You certainly can't afford my bills. And I got bills to pay. Okay?
Now, do we have a deal?
Wait, women don't have hobbies?
No. You know what the thing is? A lot of times girls have normal things that they call hobbies. They'll say, like, I'm into, like, vacations. Like, I love traveling. Or you say, you know, I love, like,
eating.
movie,
Not a hobby.
restaurant.
No.
I'm like a foodie.
No, no.
Everybody's not a hobby.
It's like in your social media, like your dating profiles, like, I love to laugh. Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
And here we have the crux of the issue here. The defeminization of Western women, by their own government-approved hand, has left women without the need to be, well, women. Back in the day, female hobbies involved raising a child, making clothes, cooking new meals, and various artistic pursuits. We know this because half the world still abides by these traditions. And because they have been encouraged to embrace these categories, they are more often than not quite skilled in these areas. In the West, we see a different picture. Millions of women looking like the woman in the first clip, trying to work a 5 o'clock shadow, demanding that men debase themselves and empty their wallets to breathe the same air. As I said at the start, hoflation is something that needs to be redefined with every new generation because nowadays, it's not enough to classify it as greed. I just use the term because it's the closest one we have. After all, greed still usually involves the other party getting very little in return. When a man shacks up with a modern woman, they don't usually get anything in return. Most get absolutely nothing. If they get married, less than nothing. Meanwhile, men do absolutely everything to keep civilization in motion. They lose fingers on assembly lines, a leg at the mill, or their head when they're taking something on overseas. To bring the point home, let's go a little bit deeper.
I don't hear the men whining about OnlyFans models getting paid more than them. I don't hear the men whining about models getting paid more than them. Kendall Jenner is the highest paid supermodel. Where are the male supermodels? But whenever men dominate in an industry, women will just complain.
It's true.
So do you take into account the fact that on average a male full-time employee works longer hours than a female full-time employee?
Not directly, no.
What about if you did it on an hourly rate? What would be the gender hourly pay gap?
Well, we don't have that data, Senator.
You don't have that data?
No, because we ask for annualised salaries and from our employers when they report their data in.
Okay, so if a woman was working fewer hours but earning the same rate per hour as a man doing the same job, would that show up as a gender pay gap?
No.
You can almost see the gears turning. Whether it's demand for pay, child support, general alimony, or a 3-course meal at a fine restaurant, women never had to see the big picture. Why? Because the residual benefits of being a woman shielded them from the harsh realities of masculine demands. In other words, they've been encouraged to play the male role, like they played dress-up as little girls. They may put on a suit, hold an office, and pose for a brochure wearing a construction worker headgear, but they've never had to feel the full weight of masculinity on their shoulders, because for a long time, men had always been there. This is why they don't understand the nature of value, because when it comes to money, this is why they work at 10% efficiency, arguing with men taking the full load, claiming that they deserve everything we fought and died to achieve. It's why I see at least 20 different clips every day of something like this.
Would you guys cheat for $100?
Would I cheat for? Alright, probably, yeah. You're for real? I'm being for real. Why? I mean, it's a hundred is 100, you know. To cheat? To cheat. Dude, you're not marrying the guy. How do you know? You're not marrying him. Obviously, if you want to cheat, that means you're not marrying him. No. I think loyalty so. Over everything.
Oh.
Okay, thanks.
You want to cheat then?
Should I? Right now?
Yeah.
First guy, pick him out. No, you can't do that. Do you want to? I'm being for real.
Would you guys cheat for $1,000?
Okay, but how far are we taking it? If I don't like the kid, and I'm just like,
why would you date him in the first place?
Why would you be dating? Like, it depends. Like, if I really, really liked him and I knew he'd be heartbroken over me, then I wouldn't.
But then why are you dating someone if you don't really, really like him?
No. Maybe. Yeah. On who? Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go.
Why not? Anyone would. I know anyone in that comment section.
I was actually wondering if you cared to join me for dinner.
I'm the only one working here tonight.
Yes. Another time, then.
That's it? You're not going to offer to buy every painting in here so I can close up early? I think I actually tried that once.
A woman that can be bought isn't worth having.
A clip worth recalling, especially given the theme here. So guys, the Western woman can be bought for, as you just witnessed in the first part, about $100. And why is that? It's an answer that all of the data I've brought here today shows quite well. For the male, money requires real work. It requires that you devote your time to something diligently and strategically. For women who never really worked a job and never really had to, they'll always find the easiest route to the goal. And in a feminist society, that pretty much means they'll do whatever they can to get it. OnlyFans, divorce, children, you name it. So how does one solve this dilemma? For me, and every Man Guide viewer, therein lies the silver lining. Stop paying for it and go your own way. For most of us, that's been the tactic for some time now. And from where I'm sitting, I think it's a fair play, and the only one that's going to truly pay off.
As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit Hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.